So I want to go back in time a little bit and play some clips that we have played on this show before, because what we're watching is we're watching the collapse of the promise of socialism. And all these people are saying, well, that's not the real socialism. It's always not the real socialism. Believe me, when the Soviet Union started, there were 1 million American intellectuals, Lenin called them useful idiots, who thought, this is it. This is the wave of the future. I've seen the future and it works. The New York Times covered up the starvation, the forced starvation of the Stalin regime. China was going to be the next big thing, and that went down the drain. Socialism does this to people. But I just want to play for you. Remember, I talked about this yesterday. The deep state, the media, the entertainment media, the universities, it's all one thing. It is all elites who think that they should be the people who control things, who think the wise, the experts. Life is just too complicated for this democracy business anymore. Those fat guys out in the mid, those deplorable fat guys with their checkered shirts, they can't make decisions for themselves. And this whole thing that, is about that. That's what it's about. But let me just play a couple of clips that we've played before. Stephen Colbert explaining socialism. I mean, this is a guy who has a huge, huge platform. And here he is explaining socialism to his audience.
On Halloween, kids literally go door to door to get free candy from the neighbors because the kids don't have it and the neighbors do. That's socialism.
That's socialism. Now, that would be true if the kids had guns. Okay, if the kids showed up at your door and said, trick or treat, give me candy, and they took your candy, whether you wanted to give it to them or not, that would be socialism. It's amazing that a comedian goes on TV and says that. But thank heaven we're seeing what's happening in Venezuela, because that has a big audience too. That's the truth. Colbert is full of it. But here's another line, this one is from Bill Maher, another line that is very popular on the left.
Republicans have to explain, if socialism is such a one-way ticket to becoming the nightmare of Venezuela, then why do all the happiest countries in the world embrace it? The UN just came out with their annual World Happiness Rankings, and the top ones are all socialist-friendly places, like Finland and Norway, Denmark and Iceland, Switzerland, Sweden, the Netherlands, and Canada, and of course, Wakanda. The right has a hard time understanding the concept that we don't want long lines for bread socialism. We want, you don't have to win the lotto to afford brain surgery socialism. Socialism as an economic model replacing capitalism is bad, but socialism as a supplement to capitalism, good.
So what he's talking about is what is now called socialism and was never really socialism to begin with, which is redistributing the wealth created by capitalism. But think about it for a minute. First of all the countries that he listed are not socialist. They do have big redistribution, high taxes and things like that. But they're also homogenous states with very homogenous countries for the most part, with people who share a culture, who share values. They're not like our system where anybody can come in basically and abuse a huge welfare state, and do abuse a huge welfare state. I believe in a small welfare state. I actually do believe in this because I think people are too afraid to be free. I think people are fearful of being free. But it's true, once you accede to the idea that there should be a small welfare state, every election is going to be, shouldn't it be bigger? How come this person can't afford college? This person can't afford a beautiful suit. This person, how can he get a job without a beautiful suit? It just goes on and on and on. And healthcare, of course, is a bottomless pit that will just suck every resource into it, because where do you stop? I mean, what are hair implants? Is that something that you should be allowed to have? Why is birth control on there? It's ridiculous. But this is the thing that they are selling. Let me just play one more. And by the way, this whole thing about these countries are happy, who cares? Our country is a stressed out, crazy, revolutionary country producing more inventions, more industry, more wealth, more, new ideas than anywhere else. That's stressful. You're happy if you're living in this country. Like I say, Norway invented the paperclip. Good for them. And no wonder they're happy. We provide the army that protects them. We provide the new inventions in healthcare that they live on, the phones, the cars, whatever they use that's high-tech tech. comes from us. So they're happy like, you know, a kid living in his parents' garage, or really like an old person living in his kid's garage, really. And so they're happy like that. Who cares? Who cares if they're happy? I mean, you know, like the big yellow smiley face is not the purpose of life. It's creativity, contribution, building things, taking mankind to its next stage. That's happening here under a more capitalist system, a capitalist system that's definitely under threat. Let me just play one more, and I don't like making fun of or attacking private citizens, but this is a lady who asked a question of Bernie Sanders at the Fox News town hall that they did, and listen to her description of socialism.
Our question comes from Kathy Harrington. Kathy, what's your question for Senator Sanders?
Hi, Senator Sanders. Welcome to the Lehigh Valley. So my question is, the definition of socialism is just a society agreeing to work together and combining their resources to make sure everyone is protected and taken care of. How can you challenge the idea that socialism is bad in the minds of the public?
So everybody's taken care of, and it's the community getting together to help everybody. Again, just not true, only true if it's done with guns, because it's the whole thing. We're talking about a principle. We're talking about a principle. Who owns your life? Who owns your time? Your money is not just money. It's not, you know, that paper doesn't have any real value in itself, except insofar as it represents your work, your investment, your risks, your responsibility. That's what that money is a symbol of, okay? The government should not own that. If the government owns your money, it owns your time. It owns your work. If I have a right to health care, then I have the right to, if you're a doctor, I have a right to use your service. I have a right to your service. I have no right to your service. Nobody has a right to anybody else's service. It's just not true. And it's the principle. Let me read you a story.